there, YouTube. It's Ted again. Just to let you know, in case you don't already, I usually shoot off the hip with these videos. I don't write them down. I just have a topic that I want to talk about, and we go from there. With that being said, today's topic, I kind of want to touch on something that the Table Monkeys came out with yesterday, and they did a great job. And they were talking about how YouTube has helped the growth of arm wrestling. To bring it to new audiences, to get more people involved. Look at Core Sports and Larry Wheels and Team PR and all that. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with everything they said. I mean, if you want to, you need to go look at their video, Table Monkeys. Go subscribe to their channel. I'm saying this as if I have anything or any sway, but I mean, I have like something like 1/10 of their subscribers or some crap. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed to them already, you need to. Table Monkeys, great guys out of Canada. They're doing good things. The topic that I want to touch on today is kind of the opposite, which is what I see is the negativity that not only YouTube, but Facebook and every other social media platform, and I don't mean them themselves, I mean the fact that because of the fact that arm wrestling is getting more popular, it also means that you're going to be bringing in a bunch of people that are just there to troll. And I'm not talking about the troll army. Those guys are amazing. If you don't know who the troll army is, well, then you're obviously not a huge fan of arm wrestling right now. But I'm talking about actual trolls and how they affect everything. I know RVJ has talked about it, and it's not even just trolls. It's people that are just, for lack of a better term, ignorant about actual arm wrestling. Like, I'm new to arm wrestling, but at least I understand what a practice pull is versus a competition pull. And there's a huge difference in intensity, in power, in strength, in what you're willing to put your arm through, what you're working on and all of that. Probably the best known and one of the best people for it is Devin Larratt. In a practice pull, he will literally let you get to here, okay? And just let you just pound on his arm, and he will then try to just pronate out of it or just cup out of it or whatever, okay? And we're talking about he does this against some elite guys in a practice pull. In a tournament or a super match setting, that doesn't happen. There is no, let you get to the spot that you feel comfortable in. No, I'm going to go on the offensive, and so is he. The thing is people look at these practice pulls and they see Devin shaking with intensity and maybe he gets pinned, or he can't pronate but he can cup, and he's turning red and he's sweating. Oh man, that guy could beat him. Okay, maybe, but the point that you're missing is Devin let that person get to the spot that they felt most comfortable in, and then held and only worked defense. Whereas in a match, in an actual match competition setting, you're going to be working offense as well. And yeah, you may be put in a defensive situation, but you're going to be fighting a whole lot different than you are in a competition sense. It kind of brings me back to my past with martial arts. It was the same thing. In a sparring match, we fought completely different than we did in a tournament or a combative situation, an actual competition situation. We fought completely different. A sparring match was relaxed, and you got to try different moves and different timing and all of this. It's the same thing on a table. You're trying different moves, different timing, different angles. Can I hold this pressure? Well, if I'm here, can I just pronate out of it? Do I need to cup? Do I need to work everything at the same time? Am I strong enough to do this? Will my back pressure drag him off center? A whole lot of things that are going on there. But yet you see people commenting all the time about how, Devin's missing a step and he's getting too old, or same thing with Michael Todd. When Todd Hutchings and him were going at it, those were still practice pulls. They said, Todd pinned him, so therefore he should go up against him for world champion. I mean, Todd may think so. Todd Hutchings may think so, but in a match situation, Michael Todd, in my opinion, is going to destroy Todd Hutchings. There was Artem from Top Roll Kings. Now, he didn't say it because he knows something about arm wrestling, but there were people that were watching Artem pull Michael Todd, and it was, again, practice. Not only that, but he had just arm wrestled Chance, Shaw, and a bunch of other people. And Artem comes up, and don't get me wrong, Artem's a good arm wrestler, great arm wrestler. Wiped the floor with me without a problem. But, you know, Michael didn't go into his King's move or anything like that, and then he did, and it was already way defensive. And Artem, you know, did a beautiful transition into a press and almost got Michael down, and then Michael took him back. You know, and right away people were like, oh my God, I didn't know Artem was that strong. And don't get me wrong, he's strong, but I think the point that I'm trying to make here is that you can't really judge anything off of a practice pull like you would in a competition sense. Perfect example for me would be Jerry Carteret. Jerry Carteret was arm wrestling somebody, and now I can't remember who the hell took him. I can't remember who the hell beat him. But anyway, he was arm wrestling for something like 2 hours. And then somebody showed up and he couldn't touch him. And I think it might have been Chance Shaw. Couldn't touch him. Now, Chance didn't go around bragging about that, okay? But Chance's fans did, all right? You know, they're like, oh, you know, look, he could beat Jerry Carteret. 2 hours of arm wrestling will put a serious hurting on your arm. RVJ told a story about it where he was arm wrestling for, I think it was an hour and a half, 2 hours, taking on all comers. And he saw this guy just kind of sitting back there, you know, just waiting. And then when he felt like he was weak enough, he stepped to the table, and all of a sudden all the phones came out, the cameras came out. That's what I was kind of getting at, is how the phones, the cameras, you know, the instant gratification has kind of ruined not just arm wrestling, but all sports and all things. Because yes, I'm standing in front of you right now on a phone talking to you, but my point being is that, you know, and I record all my training sessions, but they're training sessions, okay? Huge difference in the way I fight in training as I do in competition. Same with every other arm wrestler out there. RVJ said, you know, whatever happened to taking the pictures up here, right? And the memory up here. And it kind of makes the elites, and this is what really bothers me, and I hope it doesn't actually come down the pike like this, but I know it has for RVJ already. It kind of makes the elites not want to pull guys like me, like guys that are just coming up. Because let's say I do get RVJ at, you know, 2.5 hours in or 3 hours in, and I'm able to pin him. Now that goes on the internet, and I claim that I have a win over RVJ, and then, you know, I troll him. I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying there are people out there that would and have. You know, it makes them look bad. There's no upside for them. They know they can smash the hell out of me, you know, the new guy. But the point is we need those guys to teach us. We need those guys to continue to pull with us, because that's how we learn. That's how the people that are just coming up learn. We need the guys that have, you know, 20, 30 years experience sitting down with us and saying, hey, I feel this angle is good, but this angle isn't. I need you to work on this. This is how you do that. You know, let us get into different positions and beat on their arms. I mean, Bob Brown, who just recently started a YouTube channel, he was just talking about the fact that John Brzenk used to that's how he practiced. He would just come to practice and let everybody just pound on his arm until he was pinned. Well, what happened if, you know, and we're talking 20 years ago now, or more, what happened if, you know, fast forward 20 years and it's now, and that's what he does, and it's just filmed when he gets pinned? What's the upside for John? You know what I mean? What's the upside for the people that have the legacy to protect? What's the upside? There is none. So I guess my thing is, yes, as you know, as I said in the beginning of this, I agree with the Table Monkeys that YouTube and other social media platforms have been a huge success and unbelievable. And I wouldn't trade it. I think the pros do outweigh the cons, no doubt about it. But I would caution anyone who sees this video or you know, any content creator that sees this video that wants to make another video echoing what I'm saying. I would caution anybody that's hearing these words to just show a little bit of respect, and maybe and not just for the people pulling, but for the sport in itself. Meaning, do your research. Understand that there's a huge difference in the way people pull in practice versus the way people pull in a tournament / super match setting. Okay? Don't always take what you see, this 30-second clip of me taking down Jerry Cataract. I would never be able to do that in a competition setting. And I'm not saying I have, I'm just saying, if you saw a 30-second clip of me taking down Jerry Cataract, I'll tell you what, there's levels, right? My level, my coach, Nick Johnson. Again, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, Nick Johnson AW. He's my coach. Fresh versus fresh, or in a super match setting or tournament setting, he destroyed me right now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He destroyed me. But you let him arm wrestle for about a half an hour, and I could be an hour in. My stamina is just a little bit better than his. And I don't know what it is. It's just maybe he puts down a lot more force so he wears out quicker. I don't know. But in a super match setting, I have no chance of beating him. So that first 6 rounds, okay, I'd never get a pin on him, no doubt about it. 12 rounds, I'd never get a pin on him, no doubt about it. But now take him and put him on a different table against equally skilled guys that he has to face. So in other words, he's putting a lot more effort into what he's doing, and put me with my guys, the guys that are equal to me. So I'm actually putting less force than against Nick, right? I hope you're following along with this. And then an hour later, put Nick up against me, and I'm going to hold Nick. So what am I going to do? Put up a video of just me beating Nick and claim that it was some sort of victory? No, I know what the score is. You know what I mean? The score would be something like 25-1 in Nick's favor. But the video doesn't tell you that. So therefore, you think that I can beat Nick. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Is practice pulls don't mean anything except for entertainment, and use it as entertainment, and use it as a training tool. Look at the micro adjustments. Look at, when somebody, Devin is beautiful for this. And yes, I know I sound like a Devin fanboy, but he's the ambassador of arm wrestling, right? So if you're going to be a fanboy of somebody, might as well be him. When he gets taken in a practice or even in a match, he has that beautiful hidden hook where it's just bam. And he has a way of just stopping you beautifully here and then fighting from there. It's a great way to add elasticity to your losing position and to give you a way out. Use that as a training tool. Like, look at the way he does things. How does he defend against in a losing position? How does he look against somebody like Larry Wills that's coming up and that's definitely stronger than Devin, but doesn't have the neural pathways yet built to have the table IQ. You know what I mean? Use the videos for what they're intended for, entertainment, but stop drawing conclusions off of those entertaining videos. If you want to draw conclusions, then look at where they are in match, like whether it be a tournament or a super match or what have you. Okay, that's when you draw your conclusions as to who would be a good match or who's better than who or whatever. But in a practice match, it's entertainment, and that's what it's meant for. And I really get sick and tired of seeing the fanboys of whoever turn around and say, this person would do this, and this person did this, and this person actually is winning, and blah, blah, blah. Perfect example. The biggest example, and I'll end with this, the biggest example would probably be in 2020, I think it was, when Michael Todd and Devin pulled in the garage. I saw it, and I'm a Devin guy, so I'm a little bit biased. Don't get me wrong, Michael, I love you, but I was rooting for Devin. I saw it as, Devin was there fishing. He was looking to pull 100 times that night on his right hand, so he was just fishing to feel where the strengths and weaknesses were. And of course, anybody who knows anything about the setup on that knows that Michael had just done a bicep workout that day, so his arms were blown out. So what can we take from it? It was a great match in the context that it was. It was a training pull. Devin was not pulling his hardest. He was looking to see where the weaknesses and strengths were, where his hand and wrist held up or fared against Michael's hand and wrist. And Michael was definitely gassed from the workout, so his stamina was way down, as we saw after the first match. I mean, he was dying and Devin was ready to go. Well, that's because Michael's system had been taxed, holy crap, earlier in the day, okay? And Devin was relatively fresh. There you go. But take from it what you will, it was just a practice match. I didn't sit there and say, oh, well, that guarantees that Devin could beat Michael or Michael could beat Devin. All I said was, yeah, I mean, from what I saw, Devin was testing and Michael still came out the victor, even though he was gassed. That's something for Michael, so good job. That's what I did. There was too many people on both sides that were like, oh, you know, this and this and this, and it's a definite. How do you, nothing is definite. Nothing is definite. So all I'm asking, not that I'm anything big in this sport, because I'm not, but all I'm asking is show some respect for the sport, get a little education as to what it looks like for a practice pull versus a competition pull, and stop talking in absolutes, okay? Stop talking in absolutes, because nobody knows, including the competitors, what's going to happen for sure. They just know how they feel, and they have a prediction as to what's going to happen. But they don't have an absolute, and neither should you. And I think it would stop a lot of the trolling and a lot of the arguments, and I think I'm just pissing the wind as far as wishing for this, because we live in a day and age where people get way too comfortable behind one of those and behind a keyboard. But figured I'd make the video anyway, and I'll be sending it to you, Table Monkeys, in private messages, because you did say you wanted to see it, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate your video and everything you're doing, and I hope to God one day I get to pull you guys here in North Carolina. So take it easy, God bless, and I hope you enjoy, guys.